There was one shirt that a kid wore, not playing around. It said, "I heart MILFs."
Did he know what it stood for?
Yes, he knew what it stood for.
Because sometimes, no, listen, I had a kid.
But you're little, though.
You teach third grade.
But they know what they're doing.
Sometimes they don't, though.
But sometimes they don't. In this particular instance, she definitely did not. She came to school.
Bless her heart.
And, they got to take their water bottles out of their book bags.
Uh-huh.
And I kid you not, she took a flask out of her book bag. And it was her water bottle. Does it hold liquid? Yes. Could it hold water? Absolutely. Is that the purpose?
The way I would have fell out.
No, this third
We
grader.
were like,
Is that a flask?
This third grader showing up to class like he just got fired from his job.
we were like,
I worked here for 20 years,
we don't bring that one back. We don't bring that one back. Yeah.
I hate when teachers throw kids' food away. Can't stand it. I have seen people throw kids' food away, and I'm like, you wrong for that.
Tell them to put away.
Either they mama bought that, or don't throw their stuff away. I don't care if they had 10 bags of chips. Don't throw their stuff away, man.
Yeah, you don't know what their home situation is at home.
And even if you do, don't throw their stuff away. Yeah, if somebody throw my chips away, we squaring up. If my principal say, put them chips up, and I don't put them up, and she like, well, give them to me until we get done since you ain't gonna put them up. Say less. But if you take my chips and walk over there and throw them in the trash can, and you didn't bring no Chick-fil-A biscuits in here this morning with no coffee, and we had to be here up before Jesus, I'm gonna get a little testy. I don't think we realize sometimes the skills that we have.
What's your number one skill that you know you have?
Teacher face.
Teacher face?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the teacher
Like
face?
the quit playing with me face.
Look into the camera right now. Get that camera the teacher face. Whoa. Let me work on my teacher face. Hold
Go
on.
ahead, let me
my
see.
turn.
Let me see yours.
Okay.
Right! Thank you. That's the face. That was the face.
Yeah.
Do you have a teacher face?
Ooh.
Ooh, that says, now you already know what you're supposed to be doing. Get them.
Okay.
Oh, not the look up and...
Oh, with the head nod? With the little slightly eyebrow raise?
Oh,
nice touch.
James, do you know my application was denied?
It was.
After 10 years of teaching, I submitted my application. I said, I've taught in Title I schools. My loan should be forgiven for $7,500. My student loan, according to this paperwork, should be forgiven. James, would you like to know why they denied my application? And let me tell you, this is why teachers are so furious about this stupid stuff. Guess, James. Why would you deny an application? What do you think I did wrong?
You spelled something wrong.
Oh, no. You would be maybe correct. I want to tell you worse. My principal put a slash instead of a dash on the date.
Stop it.
I am not
Stop it.
They said your student loan application has been denied because the proper dating was not used when your principal signed. That's the thing, though. They hope you're so mad that you go, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. That's what they want.
If you teach at a public school, don't send them kids to admin. They ain't gonna do nothing. They gonna come back with a snack and a juice. I'll come back with a snack and a juice.
Friends outside of education will ask me things like, hey, Liz, what's that like, teaching high school English? Have you ever planned a book club for well over 100 people and you're the only one who wants to read? Some of you are laughing through pain. It's okay. That's why we're here today. We're healing shared trauma.
In Missouri, there has been a bill sponsored and put forth for a vote that if a teacher uses a trans kid's pronouns, their preferred pronouns, they will be charged with a felony and placed on the National Offenders Registry as a level 1 most severe sex offender. If the kid says, I prefer he, him, I prefer she, her, and you actually use that, felony sex offender. Those found guilty under House Bill 2885 would be subject to a $10,000 fine, imprisonment, placement on the state's sex offender registry as a tier 1 sex offender, and obviously since offenders are not allowed to reside within 500 feet of a school or daycare, they would end the teacher's career.
That is the most ignorant thing I've heard in a long time.
The number one thing that irritates me as a teacher is that people think we get paid over the summer. It drives me insane. I'm like, listen, I literally don't do math, but we get paid for 180 days. Right. We do not get paid for the time that we don't work. So we spread our paycheck out over 12 months. The amount of times that we've had to explain that to people and then them saying like, oh, well, you shouldn't complain because you get summers off.
Well, and not every school district even pays throughout the summer. It's your job to have a savings account and to save X amount of dollars from each paycheck or pick up a summer job, whatever your preference is. I taught at a school where first few years of teaching there, we got 20 paychecks throughout the school year. And then summer, you didn't get any paycheck. So you'd either have to put it in savings or some kind of account. I worked at a sports bar my first 7 years of teaching.
Yeah. And it's a lot of teachers that have second jobs. Like one of the teachers at my school, when they leave school, they go to work from like 5 to 10.
We had a student who was like outwardly saying specific, detailed threats. It was me and a co-teacher. I taught English and social studies. She taught math and science. During one of her periods, this kid was saying just crazy stuff. She went to the administrator. They had their own like separate conversation. I didn't know a thing. No parent had been reached out to. Then he came back into my room with his class, so he said some stuff to me. I immediately called home. I immediately talked to all the other teachers. I found out that this had been a problem that had been happening for a while, and my admin had chosen to not tell me. So I called home. My admin got mad at me for making that call because she wasn't in the room with me. I'm like, okay, well, you could have done it the first time that this happened, where it's like, you're making me feel bad that I took action? In what world is that not the right choice? You don't know what that kid was going to do the next day. And I don't think any of my students are bad people, but we all go through things. We all have things going on. We all have situations and triggers. You don't know what the kid could do, but at least let's take step one, and at least let's get everyone on the same page.
Student teaching frustrates me for a couple different reasons. The fact that these schools are making it so you have these teachers who know that they're not going to make a lot of money once they get into the profession. You're going to make them do, in some places, a full year of student teaching, 9 months of student teaching, unpaid internship. And then they say, hey, if you're taking 11 credits or 18 credits, it's going to cost you the same amount of money. So you are going to have a college kid who's a student teacher that will hardly ever step foot on the college campus, who will work with maybe 2 professors during their student teaching experience. How are you charging student teachers a full-time tuition rate when they are doing an unpaid internship and never go on the campus? Right. That is crazy to me. No other major does that.
Not only are you required to pay the same amount as everybody else, if you student taught, you are not allowed to have a job. Like outside of that.
I had, in the middle of my lesson, a kid yell out, Miss Richardson, they fighting. I've literally never had a kid get into a fight in my classroom. I look out the window, the football players and the track team are fist fighting. And there were like 50 of them out there. I couldn't leave my kids. There's not an admin in the hallway to my knowledge. So I opened the window. I didn't see any coaches anywhere. I was like, hey, stop. They didn't. The kids was like, Miss Richardson, you're the teacher.
Did you continue with your lesson?
Miss Richardson, why didn't you go get somebody? I didn't want to waste any instructional time. The principal actually was standing in the hallway, and I was like, hey, there's like 50 kids outside fighting. I didn't know until after I watched the video. One of the coaches was like standing right there. He was one of them old school coaches that was like, man, I'm not breaking them up. He said, all I'm legally obligated to do is say, hey, stop.
With that tone, too. Hey, stop.
Now, this is from a teacher, and I'm going to read it word for word what she sent in. She said, I don't know if you guys would be interested in my story or what you do with it, but here it goes. I was a first-year special education teacher.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
For even jumping into special education at all, first year, a lot on your plate. Okay, I lived an hour away from my school that I happily drove to every day. Are you kidding?
An hour?
An hour. While also being a single mom of 3. I wanted this job really bad. Put in hours of unpaid time getting my classroom ready, as well as hundreds of dollars that I didn't have in school supplies, and that's pretty par for the course. Nothing unusual here. I get my schedule from my principal and my process coordinator, and I look at it and I see that I am not given a lunch break or a planning period. When I asked them about it, they shrugged and told me to lean on my assistant. Now, she says, legally, my assistant cannot be alone in the classroom with the students. So When am I supposed to use the restroom, let alone eat or do any paperwork? She says, I cried all weekend about it, probably in their car. Then I emailed my principal to tell her I would not be at work and could not work for a district that did not value me enough to at least give me a break. Because I quit, the district is charging me $3,000 as a penalty for breaking my contract and will not be paying me for the time that I was there. I've contacted everyone I can think of, and nobody thinks that anything can be done. Well, you have contacted Crying in My Car, podcast for teachers. I'm outraged. I read that. And normally I get the messages and I go, I've seen that. I've heard that, I know that it's a shock to you, but that's kind of the way the system works. This one, I don't think that's legal.
Of course it's not legal. There's no job in America where you can give someone they're working 8 hours and you don't give them a break or a lunch. Right. Okay. They can't even go to the bathroom.
No, cannot use the restroom and no lunch break. I mean, legally, I don't think there's a single state that you can't provide a lunch break.
Even in China, when kids are making iPhones, they get a break.
When children hug me, my hands go up in the air immediately, and and they all it was another pre-K teacher, or not another, but because I don't teach pre-K, but a pre-K teacher that saw it because the siblings all want to be in theater so badly, but I don't teach pre-K, but they'll run up and hug me anyway. And she's like, "Why do you throw your hands up?" And I was like, because the gay teacher, I have to be aware of the fact that I can't. No, I don't want. I'm one of 3 male teachers in my school, as well as I'm like, it's just the world we're in. I don't want anyone to get any kind of weird idea.
100%.
It's sad that you have to think that way, though.
It's so sad because I would. These kids are adorable.
Because I don't think twice about that. When it's I mean, yesterday when I was sending my students home for the weekend, at least 2 or 3 of them came up and side hugged me. Yeah. And I don't think twice about that, but that's really sad that that's how you have to think.
They ninja hug me, and so they'll rap, and I'm like, hey, I'll still talk to them, but my hands go up in the air.
The bigger problem is all the vaping in the bathroom right now. It is
really
everybody says that.
I once had a girl who. She called me over to ask for help on something on her Chromebook and was charging her vape pen on her computer. I don't vape, so I didn't know what it was, but the way she reacted, snatched it real quick and she's like, oh, you didn't see that? I'm like, well, now I have to do something about this.
When kids play games on the Chromebook, at the beginning of the year, I'll go over, sit next to them, like, hey, can you please not play games right now? Kind of whisper them. And now I'll see him like, Brett. Dude, I'm going to punt that Chromebook off of the roof, dude.
That's exactly it.
And tell your mom I said that, please.
Hey, it couldn't catch myself before I said, close your laptop on and throw it out the window because you don't need it for this assignment.
Yeah.
Really?
All of a sudden you realize you're beefing with a 13-year-old.
Hardcore.
Meat market
Do you want
beefing.
the smoke?
Oh my gosh.
You have so much more of a short fuse at the end of the school year. I have zero patience.
Beginning of the year, I'm like, all right, guys, talking's getting to be a little bit too much. I can't go on with the lesson if I can. And then April, I'm like, what? Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up.
People be like, you shouldn't tell kids to shut up. You shut the hell up too then.
You go from Miss Honey to Miss Trunchbull real fast. It's terrifying how bad it happens. I go from what do you think would happen if to being like, why would you do that?
In Pennsylvania, they're actually having a new teacher certification shortage. They are looking at how many teachers are getting certified in that state to teach in that state. This blew my mind. Do you realize in 2012, in state of Pennsylvania, there were 16,000 new certifications for teachers. 16,000 new teachers coming in a year. This past school year, there were 4,200. They're just not even wanting to join. I don't know that there's any hope. We do these shows, and Casey Mack is on the show for Board Teachers Comedy Shows, and he does a thing where he goes, where are all my retired teachers? And they go crazy. Where are all my teachers with 10 years or more? And they go crazy. And he goes, where's all the teachers that are 1 year in, the new teachers? And it's literally, people would take pride in going, I'm the 3rd generation teacher. It wasn't even a matter of how much money you made. It's fulfilling. You loved it.
Somebody told me that in their school district, if they're going to be absent, they have to find their own sub. And if they're out of days, they have to pay for the sub.
Hell no.
Depending on what the reason is, even if you have days, depending on if the reason is justified. So like if you say it was personal, but then they can't justify that it was personal, you still got to pay for the sub.
What is justified a personal day?
What kind of school district?
Why do I have to justify that at all?
Where you gonna get the money from? Because you better not take it out of my paycheck. I'm not paying for a sub. Why do I have to pay if I'm sick to miss work? I followed up with this. I made a TikTok and I asked people, do you have to pay for your sub? Y'all, the amount of teachers that were like, yeah, astounding.
No.